Well, good morning. Welcome to Caffeinated Conversations with Brooke Allen. It is July 1st. I can't even believe it. It feels like the summer is already flying by. I'm Brooke Allen. Thank you for being with us. So grab your coffee and settle in. We've got a lot going on today, including some fun firework facts along with some safety tips. That's the mom and me coming out. So if this is your first time with us and you're wondering what we're all about, this is a show where we brew up topics from a woman's point of view. This is our 34th episode. Thank you so much for being with us. Every month we highlight a nonprofit as our caffeinated act of kindness, and we have been so lucky to have highlighted Enchanted Makeovers. Terry Grail is the founder. They are headquartered in Taylor, Michigan, and have been doing amazing things for the last 16 years. In fact, we will announce our new Caffeinated Act of Kindness coming up, but it is time for our giveaway announcement, and I'm super excited about this because it is from Enchanted Makeovers. There is an incredible t-shirt along with what else? A coffee gift card. To win, you just need to like, follow, and comment with the number 34, and of course Jason will join us at the end of the show to tell us who the lucky winner is. Well, it is time for our Women in Business segment, and she is a powerhouse. Susie Siegel is not only the president of Walsh College, but also a speaker, an author, and a lawyer. Susie, thanks for being with us.
Thank you so much, Brooke. I'm so happy to be here.
Oh my gosh, so it is so funny. When I was reading your bio last night, I was like, what doesn't she do? So you are the president of Walsh College. How long have you been there?
Yeah, I've been at Walsh since 2020, and I've been able to serve as the president since mid-2022. So.
And you know, it's so funny. I mean, Walsh, you are all about Walsh College.
I am.
You really
yes.
are. And you can just, it just kind of exudes from you. Whenever I see you at a speaking engagement or when you're out, you are the brand ambassador like no other. So tell me all of the changes that are going on at Walsh.
Well, absolutely. Thank you for saying that, Brooke. I am so proud to be in this role and so proud of Walsh College and everything we're accomplishing. You know, we are over 100 years old, 102, and we were founded by Mervyn Walsh, who was the accountant for Thomas Edison.
That's crazy.
So Mervyn Walsh worked at the Thomas Edison Light Company, helped light up the world, and now Walsh College, 102 years later, is doing that for our students, our alumni, and our community. And so we have a school of business, a school of technology. We're launching a center for innovation and entrepreneurship. We just received a grant from the Small Business Association of Michigan through MEDC, and we're excited to expand on that. And then we have a great partnership with the Troy Chamber of Commerce, where we offer educational incentives and discounts to all the Troy Chamber members. So we're really knit in the fabric of business and technology in the community.
So you mentioned the Troy Chamber. You guys are based in Troy.
Yes.
You have a headquarters there, right?
So Walsh College
tell me about this.
Yep. Okay. So I love that you said that. So Walsh College is located in Troy, and the Troy Chamber of Commerce, their offices, their corporate headquarters, are located right on our campus. And we've really been able to have some great partnerships with business. We have Imagine Entertainment upstairs. Their corporate headquarters are there. We have the Troy Chamber. We have UTech. So our campus is alive. It is a dynamic epicenter of business and technology and innovation. It's so exciting. And I have to tell you, Brooke, our Doctorate of Business Administration program just ranked #1 by Forbes. Earned ranking.
Really?
We didn't pay to play.
Right,
we were so excited about that.
That is amazing. And you know, you have mentioned entrepreneurship, I think, 4 times now.
I know, right?
But it's a big deal to you guys, and it's a big deal to the college. So kind of walk me through that, how that has transitioned.
Well, our founder was an innovator, an entrepreneur. He worked with one of the best entrepreneurs, and he founded the college with the vision of wanting to train up the best accountants in the world. And the very first accountant, CPA in Michigan, was educated through Walsh. So we see in our students, we see in our alumni, such an entrepreneurial DNA. Even if they work in organizations, they're entrepreneurs. So we really want to help people problem solve, persevere, see challenges in the world and have that grit. And no matter what you're going to do with your career, you're going to have to do those things. So we are equipping people. We're having services for small businesses. We're able to help startups. We're able to help phase 2 and phase 3 businesses and really bring the business expertise to them to help support, because they are the backbone of our economy.
And some of the things you mentioned are actually like life lessons too.
Yes.
Right? The grit, you really need that.
You know what? It's grit, it's energy.
It is,
I know
right?
we'll talk about it's energy, it's grit, it's being able, I talk to some entrepreneurs, and I'm sure there'll be folks listening who will agree. They'll say, gosh, if I knew what it would take to get here, I'm not sure I'd do it again. And of course, they all will, but what you have to realize is it is hard work, it is dedication, it is sometimes pushing beyond your comfort zone. And I learn every day. And our team at Walsh, we're very entrepreneurial, we're very strong in the commitment we have to the mission and to the students, and I see that in our campus and in our students. We just had our commencement. It was so exciting. We just had our 119th commencement.
That's awesome.
So, yeah.
Okay, so I have this book in my hand,
Yes.
and it is called Chief Energy Officer, right? And you have written this, and all the proceeds go to Walsh College.
Yes, 100%.
Okay, but who is this geared toward?
Sure. So Chief Energy Officer, the new CEO, really takes a look at, leading beyond just title, corner office, that typical executive.
That great view.
Yeah, that great view, right? But really looking at it in terms of what type of energy do you bring into the room, into conversations? What kind of energy do you have about your brand, about your organization, and how you can even modulate and increase your energy, because we do need energy as leaders. There are days we're going to go from 5 a.m. until 1 a.m. and we have to be able to do that and really bring that positive focus and that
Bring your
energy.
A game,
Bring
right?
your A
all
game.
the time.
Yeah. So we look at that in Chief Energy Officer, a little bit of neuroscience and some physics there too. So it is a lot of science that backs it up, but it also helps leaders. And really, it's been a learning journey for me too. So I share a lot of my experiences in the book, good and bad, life lessons. So yeah.
Okay, so this is Chief Energy Officer,
That's Chief Energy
new
Officer,
CEO,
yes.
right? That's
Walsh
that
Blue.
one. Walsh,
It's in Walsh Blue,
yes,
yeah.
Walsh
And
Blue.
thank you for sharing that. All
Yeah.
the proceeds for the book go to Walsh College. So.
Okay, this one, I actually asked you to bring
did.
this one because I was like, oh, goal setting? Yeah, could use some
Right.
help with that. So the Thrive Journal,
Sure.
a step-by-step guide to help you create and accomplish your goals. There's neuroscience behind this.
Yeah, so I'll be very concise. So Thrive is a 6-part framework. There's 6 propulsion systems of the subconscious mind when we try to get change. So many times in life, we set goals, we know where we want to go, but what happens, our habits, our subconscious scripts, our belief systems, they get in the way. So Thrive stands for timing, handwriting, repetition, imagination, visualization, and emotion. And we walk through an evidence-backed framework. We did a focus group of 17 people over 3 weeks, and we measured statistically significant change. And I won't bore you anymore on that, but those that are out there listening that have a science background or research background say, ooh, wait a minute, there's a study behind this, and we can show how this really helps hack the neuroscience of goal setting. So I created this to help our students, our entrepreneurs, our leaders. I use it myself, and it is phenomenal because it works with the science of the mind to produce real and lasting change.
And no matter how many books you buy sometimes, right, of all different titles, how to set goals, how to keep the goals, how to attain the goals. Sometimes you're just like, I just can't.
Right, why do I stop, right? And that's that subconscious mind. In fact, you held up locus.
Yes,
locus
this one,
talks
no.
about locus of control, the magnet mind. Our subconscious is responsible for about 90 to 95% of the ways, the habits, the beliefs, the perceptions we move through the world. We can measure this now. So rather than working with the conscious brain, that willpower, right, that goes out the door when you're hungry and tired,
I cannot do this.
we work with the subconscious mind. And I'll just give you the really quick key is T is timing. We sometimes set goals at the wrong time of day. Thrive you do right before you go to sleep because that's when it will drop into the subconscious mind. Think about it. Anything you look at before you go to sleep, what happens? You dream about it.
You dream about it.
Yeah, exactly. So we know this.
Right,
now
right.
what we're doing is we're taking control of that mechanism and we're putting in what we want by our standards and our definition.
Wow, thank you. Okay, so this one, all the proceeds go to Walsh College.
Yeah, everything.
Everything.
Yes,
okay,
correct.
so where
So
can
you
people
go on
get
Amazon,
these?
you can connect with me on LinkedIn, Susie Siegel, SUZY-SIEGLE.
That's how I found you.
You'll see me, and I've got pictures with students, and I'm in Walsh Blue and,
Right.
and green too. But also, then you can go on Amazon and get the books as well, and I highly recommend them. They're great gifts, the Thrive Journal. But Chief Energy Officer, really, I think there's a movement out there today to really take a look at what the CEO really is, and I know that I've been embracing that too in my life and my coaching and my leadership. So thank you.
You're welcome. And for anyone interested in attending Walsh,
Yeah, go to walshcollege.edu, and we're happy to reach out and talk with you. We have degrees in business and in technology, especially AI and machine learning and cybersecurity.
Yeah.
And our business programs are thriving, so we have a great background with accounting, so we'd love to have you. And if you're interested in the DBA, like if you got folks out there that want to be coaches and consultants and real strong executive coaches, that program is for you. We have some real high-performing leaders in there, and they're actually publishing some of their own books on Amazon as well.
Well, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Okay, well, Susie, thank you so much. It is always
Thank
a
you,
pleasure
Brooke.
to see you, and I can't wait to dive into my Thrive Journal.
Yeah, I want to hear how it goes.
And of
Thank you
course,
so
I
much.
love that coffee cup.
The Walsh Yeti. Yes, there is a joke on campus about me and my Yetis.
About you and your Yetis,
Yes.
all different colors?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, Brooke.
Thank you, Susie.
Of course.
And again, that is Susie Siegel. Thanks so much, Susie. Well, for our Halfway to 100 segment, we are right in the throes of travel season. But how do you travel and care for your loved one with dementia? Well, we sat down with Joanna LaFleur. She's the founder of the Memory Lane Foundation for some guidelines. Let's watch.
I like to focus on 3 things when I'm planning, and I like to focus on hydration, comfort, and safety.
Okay, so let's break it down first with.
So hydration first, especially when it's warmer out, they can easily get dehydrated. So I like to make sure to keep small little bottles of water with you in your bag. Also using liquid IV. And if your person is not wanting to drink, using small bathroom cups as a way to get them to drink many small cups versus one tall cup. Sometimes they refuse to drink if they don't really feel like drinking, but if you give them something small, it's bite-sized, they can handle it.
Okay, so they can handle that, and that is so important because if you're on vacation, you don't want anyone to get sick,
No,
right?
yeah.
But what about familiar places?
Yeah, so it is important to make sure for their comfort that you're going to places that they maybe know because their long-term memory lasts longer than their short-term memory. Typically, it's in a different part of the brain, and so if you remember something from long ago, it's easier and more comfortable for them to be able to travel there.
Okay, and then comfort. You mentioned.
And then comfort in general, one of the things I like to do is just make sure I'm extra prepared. I like to bring what I call a go bag with me, which has extra clothes, briefs, wipes, gloves. It has water in it, basically a first aid kit, anything you might need to keep them comfortable and safe. And then just make sure that you're checking in with them regularly, watching for warning signs of any anxiety or fear, and just making sure that you're telling them what you're doing, when you're doing it, and reminding them we're out just for a little bit, then we're going to go back kind of thing.
What about flexibility? When you're planning a trip, and I know when my grandfather was alive, and you had to change plans sometimes.
Yeah, so that's why you want to really keep an eye, because if you don't want them to get into like a full-blown anxiety attack or a lot of anxiousness or a lot of confusion, because it's gonna be difficult for both of you. So kind of keep an eye on like where the meter of how they're feeling, what their mood is like, and be willing to change. Be willing to shorten it too if you need to, because sometimes it just gets really overstimulating to be around a whole new atmosphere.
And the Memory Lane Foundation provides consulting sessions, financial resources, also grief counseling, and also conducts training and seminars for professionals within the community. Joanna, also a TikTok sensation. You can find her all over social media. Well, more than 3,000 children in Michigan are waiting for permanent loving homes to call their own each year, and Spalding for Children is an adoption agency that was established in 1968 with the belief that every child is adoptable. Christy Plain is the board president for Spalding for Children, and Christy, you are a national leader in foster care and adoption.
Yes, absolutely. I've been involved with Spalding for 20 years, and I'm celebrating my 15th year on the board this month.
Oh, well, congratulations.
Yes, thank you very much.
So the mission of Spalding is kind of interesting to me because, I mean, it's all about being permanent.
That's
because
right.
We don't realize with kids in the foster care system, it may not be permanent for them.
Absolutely. So our goal is to definitely seek permanency through creating the right innovative programs so that we can help families either support and keep their own children or find foster or permanent homes for those children that we cannot keep with their families. But permanency is absolutely the goal.
And also all the resources you guys offer, I think is phenomenal. I mean, we've interviewed you 2 times, I think, before
Yes.
this, and it's always so interesting to me when the adoptive parents come on and they say, well, you know what, as soon as the adoption was final, it wasn't final with Spalding.
That's right.
You guys stay right along with them, and I think that's so important.
It absolutely is. We have lifelong relationships with the parents and the families that we work with. It's very important that we continue to support them through our programs because, you know, adopting children is not a cakewalk, right? It's not as easy as raising a child that you had yourself, right? And some of these children have come from difficult situations, and so we want to make sure that the families have the right resources in order to support them.
So if somebody was interested or thinking about fostering or adopting, I mean, where do they start?
Well, I would encourage them to first just connect with us through the website at spalding.org, and we could definitely provide some literature and just some feedback about what it might look like, and talk about the experience of fostering and just how rewarding and amazing it can be for families. And then we would certainly support if they are interested in pursuing.
So what about the children themselves? Can you kind of talk a little bit about these kids who are up for adoption or are thrown into the foster system and what they really need? I mean, they need a home, they need a
Yes,
family,
yes.
but it goes a lot deeper than that.
It absolutely does. And so we deal with a lot of children who unfortunately have experienced trauma, and it's traumatic not to be with your birth family in and of itself. And so we deal with a lot of mental health challenges. We also just deal with the like I said, the stress of being removed from or not being able to be in your permanent home. And there are multiple things that we support the families with, and also just adjusting to new schools, adjusting to new environments, et cetera.
What about the ages of kids? Is there a definite demographic, or is it across the board?
It's across the board. And as you mentioned, Brooke, it's interesting when you talk about permanency, because I think one of the hardest things is when you're interacting with a young person. And I had a young man once at a fundraiser that we had say to me, "Oh, I'm 17, and if I don't get adopted, I'll be alone forever." Because, without a family,
right,
at that age, then, they will not have anyone to celebrate birthdays and holidays and be a part of a family.
Do they age out at 18?
Yes.
Okay, so at 18, so he was right on the cusp of it.
That's
then.
right. That's right. So he was really anxious to have a family that would want to have him be a part of their lives for the rest of his life.
And I know I've had friends who have adopted, and you hear people talking about it, and you always hear them say, "Oh, well, we want a baby."
That's right.
Everyone wants the baby, and I understand that, but it's the 5-year-olds, it's the older kids, especially the teenagers, like you mentioned, that really need these homes.
Absolutely. I mean, if you think about it, I know for me, middle school was probably the hardest time in my
worst.
life, right? Isn't it the worst?
My twins are in middle school now,
Okay.
and I'm like, oh, what are we doing?
So you can definitely relate. So if you can think about what it would be like to be, in middle school and trying to adjust to a family, and what that might be like for the family. So it takes a special person, it takes a big heart, but just an open mind and the willingness to learn, and that's what Spalding's about, is helping those families thrive.
And I think being flexible too.
Absolutely.
Right? Flexibility is a big key
with any
to it.
parent.
With
Absolutely.
any parent, right?
Yes.
So if you had one thing to say to somebody thinking about adoption, what would it be?
I would just say explore. Learn and find out if it's the right thing for you. But if you have a big heart and you have the space and you have an open mind, I think that you should definitely explore it. Reach out and learn more through Spalding. There are also other ways to get involved. You don't have to be a foster parent to get involved. You can volunteer with the organization. You can donate to the organization. We have our biggest fundraiser, our only fundraiser of the year.
That's coming up in September.
That's right.
Super excited about
September
this.
7th,
Yes.
we're having our 3rd annual Spalding Golf Scramble, and that'll be at the Farmington Hills Golf Club. And so there are many ways to participate. Even if you're not a golfer, you can come and you're going to MC, so you will be there. You will be there. We're very excited.
I will be there, and I'm so grateful that you guys asked me. It's a big honor, and of course the QR code was on the screen just then.
Great.
But that is September 7th.
That's right.
Right, and then what can people expect from that day? A lot of fun, right?
Oh my gosh, it's an amazing time. And what's really interesting, and I always say this about Spalding, is that once you're a part of the organization, you're family. And Spalding, really, the organization and all the people really do feel like family, and they really support one another. It's one of the reasons why I've been involved for 20 years and stay with the organization. And so, it's just an awesome day. It's a lot of fun. It's, no stress. If you can't really golf, I've heard a lot of people say, "Oh, I don't golf." It's fine. It's a scramble, best ball. There's always someone that gets off the tee, with a team.
I'll be the one with the golf club in my pocket just walking off.
You know what? And you can just dress cute and get your picture taken and look like a golfer. But you can also join us for one of the meals. You can come and just have dinner and get to know the organization. So you mentioned if someone's interested in fostering, that would be a great opportunity to just hang out and come and meet some of the
everybody and see what you're all about, right?
Meet us and just get a feel. Absolutely, a fun setting. It's beautiful. The golf course is gorgeous. Farmington Hills Golf Club does an amazing job for us. We have lots of food. We like to feed people, right? So 3 meals and 18 holes if you'd like to play, and also some fun and games, and you can win some fun prizes and things like that.
And and we're joking about how much fun this is going to be, but at the end of the day, it's a huge. It's your only fundraiser.
It is our only fundraiser.
Only fundraiser. So this is a huge event for you guys, and super important for the work you do.
Absolutely, it is our only fundraiser of the year. We've dabbled in multiple things over the years. Early in the history of Spalding, we had a very, very successful golf tournament for many years, and then that sort of sunsetted, and we did some other things. But we found that this particular event has gained a lot of traction. We have some big sponsors. Wendy's is definitely one of the bigger sponsors,
okay.
And there are multiple others. So please look at the website. I don't want to shortchange any of our sponsors, but we have a lot of business sponsors. Plus, it's a great opportunity for just an individual to get involved. And I just want to double check. I don't want to quote the wrong price, but it's only $150 for an individual to come play, and so it's very reasonable. You get 3 meals, you get to golf, and you get to have a lot of fun and get
it goes
engaged.
for a great cause.
And it's for a great
Right.
cause, so you really can't beat it.
Okay, well, listen, thank you so much. I will see you September 7th.
Yes, looking
Golf
forward
club
to
in
it.
hand. Woo.
And thank you so much for helping us out. We
Oh,
really
no.
appreciate you agreeing to MC for us.
Oh, no, it's my pleasure. And, you know, it's just so important. There's, I mean, what, 3,000 kids at any time?
That's right.
Right,
That's right.
in the system. And they all need, you know, everyone deserves a home.
That's right.
And a
That's right.
family.
And a permanent home.
Yep.
Absolutely.
So, thank you so much, Christy.
All right.
Appreciate you.
Thank you.
And again, that is Christy Plain. You are watching Caffeinated Conversations with Brooke Allen. We are broadcasting live from the My Michigan TV studios in Troy, Michigan. Thank you for being with us. Well, I'm Brooke Allen. Temperatures have been soaring. Of course, a lot of summer parties going on, but if you are looking for a new interesting cocktail to serve, for our Great Lakes Made segment, we introduce you to Franklin DeHanos. He's the founder of From Michigan with Love and a boozy K-Cup. Let's watch. This coffee, these K-Cups are a little bit different.
They come with a kick.
They do come with a kick indeed, and this is Cask and Kettle. So, okay.
Battle Creek.
Yeah, Battle Creek, and we had to be a little bit careful because I am allergic to chocolate, and a lot of these have chocolate in them, but
Yes.
we found one that does not. Okay, so how are we doing this? So,
Well, let's tell them that this isn't just regular coffee you're going to put in a cup with some ice.
No.
Now, you can drink it hot in the summer, but why?
Right.
Just take some ice.
Okay.
And then you pour in this is a K-pod, by the way. You pour it in there. Doesn't that look nice? Look at that. And what this is coffee and malted vodka. It's 90
oh my
proof.
gosh, I can smell it right now. I'm like, whoa, what
And then
is
for the cold,
happening?
you want to add just a little bit of water, or you can add a cream to it. Some people actually like to mix it with Bailey's, which is, ooh, what a treat.
Right.
So you just pour a little bit of water in there, just like that.
Okay.
About 4 ounces.
All right.
And just let it sit for a second. And it is, well, you don't have to, but it's delicious.
I'm gonna
Swish
stir
it
it up.
around. There's 5 flavors. What I'm holding now is the Mexican coffee, and you can see it's just a K-pod. You put it in a Keurig-style machine, and it comes out, and it's a very nice restaurant-style hot hard coffee, and they have a cider also, which is I hear actually pretty good as well. What do you think?
You know what? Let me try it one more time. It's really good. And Cask and Kettle, headquartered in Battle Creek and available at select Meijer stores. Well, if you know me, you know I am not very athletic. In fact, I prefer to be a spectator as opposed to a player. I failed my golf lessons and barely made it through my sailing lessons when I lived in California. One sport I've never tried, however, is tennis. This is the healthy part of our Healthy, Wealthy, and Wise segment. And Jim Slaughter, you are indeed a tennis pro.
I am, yeah. I've been coaching almost 30 years.
Okay, so you've been coaching for 30 years. You are at Red Run Coffee
Country Club.
Coffee Club, Country Club.
Red Run Country Club right now.
Okay, and then you're at Groves.
Groves High School, coach the girls at Groves High School right now.
Okay, so I mean, for anyone who does, I mean, a lot of people love to watch tennis.
Yeah.
A lot of people love to play tennis, but this is kind of something you can do all your life.
It is. It's, you know, I see tennis as a lifelong sport. You know, there's a lot of life lessons along with tennis. It keeps me in shape. It keeps me active and young. As I get older, I'm able to play less and less.
Okay.
That's why we've, you know, pickleball has been such a big,
Yeah, what do you think
huge,
of pickleball?
huge.
Do
You know, I
you
fought
like
it for
it?
many years
Okay.
as a diehard tennis guy.
Right.
And then our GM at Red Run said, we have to do this, and it's booming. You know, it's the
Really?
fastest growing sport in the United States. And what's nice about it is that anybody can play it.
Okay, so how does it
How is it like
different
tennis?
or like different like tennis?
I think the similarities are it's on a court and it's with a racket and it's with a ball.
Okay.
But other than that, it's more like ping pong.
Oh, okay.
Then
well, maybe I could handle that then.
you could do that.
I could do that. I can do pickleball. Okay.
You don't have to move as much. The court is smaller.
Right.
So it's a much easier sport.
You know, so for being a lifelong tennis player, but how is it as far as mentally? I mean,
yeah.
helping you, and I think a bonding experience with the other players.
Sure.
I mean, speak to that a little
Well,
bit.
I think when I say that it's a lifelong sport, you know, I always tell my players that, you know, in the course of a tennis match, there's 200 choices. You know, there's 200 points or whatever, and each point is worth mathematically the same, except that there are some points that are worth more
Okay.
and more serious. And so, to move on from a bad shot or even move on from a good shot kind of keeps you
Keeps you going,
keeps you
right?
going. And I think in life as well, is every once in a while there's going to be a setback or even a triumph.
Right.
And if you spend too much focusing on that triumph as well as the mistake, you're never going to continue forward.
That's really interesting. It seems like this would be an excellent sport for kids to play because
It's a
so they
great
could
sport.
learn that, right?
Yeah, it's a great sport for kids to get into, only because it kind of teaches them that, focusing on one thing, can really disrupt everything moving forward if you're not able to move past the good as well as the bad.
What is the ideal age, do you think, for somebody to start
We
tennis?
started Red Run at 4.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I have a couple 3-year-olds.
Really?
If they're coordinated
Can they
enough.
even hold the racket?
They're special sized tennis rackets, but if they're coordinated enough and athletic enough, even at 3, to be able to hold the racket and swing, it's kind of
pretty
cute to
cool.
see these 4-year-olds
Right.
lined up, all swinging at the racket, and you just got to really pay attention because sometimes they swing and they'll hit
I
somebody.
was going to say, I can imagine there's a lot of headaches in that class.
It's stressful, but it's a lot of fun.
So what about, when you're at Groves and you're with the girls and everything, what do you see as far as from the youngest kids to kids who are in high school or, teenagers
Right.
who are playing this game? What does it do for them?
Well, I think it's the same thing. I think any athletic sport in high school is important. Whether obviously for health reasons, but also for socialization. I think now, it's funny, as I've been coaching 30 years, and coaching a team is much more difficult now than it ever was.
How come?
Because of social media.
Oh.
Is that, like as soon as they walk off the court, we're practicing and we'll take a break. As soon as they walk off the court, you see them all walk over to the bleachers and
Get their
grab their
phones.
phones and start on their phones. And so that's been a challenge, but high school, even more so. But I think it's so important for them to be active and social and moving on the court and things like that, which they're not normally doing outside of
Right.
the practice. So I enjoy it, and I think it's important.
So what about for like the older demographic?
Sure.
Can anybody start tennis at any age or no?
I think so. I would, depending on, your health and things like that. Like I said, I've really been excited and have enjoyed learning to play pickleball, and I can teach anybody to play pickleball.
Really?
Yeah, we have a pickleball league, and we have ranges from, we have these 19-year-old boys that are in the league that are, with, 60-year-old, playing, and I just think it's a much more open sport than tennis. Tennis is a pretty particular skill.
Okay.
Where pickleball, you can come out and be able to play within the first day or two.
It's kind of interesting. You just mentioned the teenagers with the 60-year-olds.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of cool because it's bringing them together in an atmosphere that they wouldn't normally be.
Right. It's
And kinda
so
teach-
neat.
Kind
Yeah.
of teaching each other.
This league, to kind of see them all interact, and they're having fun, they're high-fiving in between, and
That's
they're
cool.
having these conversations. It's really kind of a cool experience.
So are you coaching now, or do you do private lessons?
I
or
do.
okay.
I do private
Okay.
lessons, mostly through Red Run, but outside of that as well.
Okay.
For me, I've always encouraged people to do group lessons, because a private lesson, is sometimes is difficult when you're learning, but by watching other people and interacting with other people, you're much more comfortable than trying to do it by yourself.
Oh, okay. I'll get some friends together.
Absolutely,
And we'll,
absolutely.
We'll sign up for a lesson.
Like groups of 4 are perfect.
Really? Oh,
Yeah.
that's cool. Okay. So how would people get in touch with you?
They can, go to the website, Red Run website, and then, obviously I'll also put my email out there too.
Okay, perfect. And just tell me about this real quick, because this is a racket without a net.
Yeah. So you mentioned a racket, and I had forgot I had one in the car, but this is right before I was gonna string it. So.
So this is not typical.
This is not typical. I probably could still play with this.
Right, could
Maybe.
you really?
Maybe. But often people get rackets and things like that, and then after a while, the strings, I don't think people know that they have to be replaced fairly often.
okay.
I took my friend out, and he grabbed a racket, and I don't think it had been used, I think, in 20 years.
Really?
Yeah, and I was like, feel this one, just the difference in rackets over the years. But So I haven't yet strung that one.
So you'll string this one.
I will string this
okay.
one.
And when I take
yeah.
my tennis lesson, I'm expecting to use this one.
You can use this one.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Thank you, Jim. It's a
You're
pleasure
welcome.
to
Thank
meet
you for having me.
Yes. And again, that is Jim Slaughter. He's a tennis pro. You will be amazed at what you can find at Time War Vintage in St. Clair Shores, and you'll realize that art comes in all forms, including ashtrays. Let's watch. I'm at Time War Vintage in St. Clair Shores, hanging out with Jason. And Jason, very interesting, this section, because they look like works of art, and they are, but they were actually ashtrays.
They are.
So what do you do with ashtrays if you don't smoke?
You know what's funny is we get asked that a lot because even if you do smoke, it's usually electronic, so you don't need the ashtray for it, right? So we tell people that they're works of art, and because somebody made them, they're ceramic, glass, somebody blew that.
It's beautiful.
I mean, look at this thing. With the etched rose in it, and even though it was an ashtray,
Do you think you could use it as a vase?
You could. You absolutely
like a very short
could.
flower?
Yeah, or a planter with an air plant or
Right.
something to that effect.
Yes.
Or just to set up on your mantle as a beautiful piece of glass.
Yeah, no, it's gorgeous.
You know, something like this, which would look really great in like a tiki room or
Yes.
something. Even if you don't want that, you have a bowl you can throw your
Chips and
keys
salsa
in. Chips and salsa. Your keys in.
Right? Okay.
Candy.
Candy.
Isn't that cool?
Yes. Okay, so I'm not going to, I
I'll
don't
take
want to,
that.
okay, thank you. I don't want to. But this is beautiful.
Isn't that beautiful?
Yes.
And that's homemade.
Really?
Yep, somebody made that. So it would have been done in a pottery class.
Okay.
Back in the day. And these are really popular, especially with Father's Day coming up.
Yeah.
For people who collect tiki, people who collect pinups,
Oh, yes.
pinup art,
Yeah.
stuff like that. So there's a ton of them, as you can see, between those and
Oh, yeah.
like the stacking ones,
yes.
the pink.
Oh, see, these are gorgeous.
There is
And
a different type of ashtray that you can use as a candy dish, as a catch-all for anything. Instead of throwing them out,
Yeah.
reuse them.
No, it's beautiful. So come into Time War Vintage. Check out their ashtray section for multi-purpose use, right?
Multi-purpose,
And of
exactly.
course, there are so many other cool things here. I mean, stepping into the store is really like stepping back into time. Thanks, Jason.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you.
And of course, Time War Vintage, really a phenomenal store, one of my favorite hangouts. Go check them out. Well, I don't know if you've been hearing them in your neighborhood, but fireworks season is upon us. And whether you're staying home or having a party and you have fireworks, just be careful. According to the U.S. Consumer Product Safety Commission, there were 9,700 injuries involving fireworks in 2023. Of the 8 fatalities reported, 5 were directly linked to firework misuse. 2 were related to a device malfunction. So a friendly reminder, if you are shooting fireworks off at home, light only 1 firework at a time. Of course, follow the instructions on the packaging. And of course, keep a supply of water nearby, and of course, keep fireworks away from pets and small children. Well, it is the beginning of July, and every month we highlight a different nonprofit for our caffeinated act of kindness. And this month, I am proud to announce Yad Ezra is that nonprofit. Marcy Fickney is the board president of Yad Ezra, and thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you so much for having me.
Okay, so Yad Ezra is in Berkeley.
Yes.
I live in Berkeley, and I pass it all the time. But for people who may not know what this is, tell me.
So Yad Ezra actually means helping hand. We've been around for 34 years, and 34 years ago we had a group of people that realized that we had a problem in the community, that there's a lot of food insecurity. At the time we were serving about 250 families, and since then now we've increased it to 1,500 families a month, and that's about 4,000 individuals. So there's a great need in the community.
There is a great need, and so a lot of people say, well, isn't that a Jewish food pantry?
So it is a Jewish food pantry, but we're an emergency food pantry, so we help anybody at any time, any religion, any location, help them, and then we also provide a lot of assistance to other sister agencies so they can get some aid.
And you do have some big partners.
Yes, so we work closely with Gleaners and Forgotten Harvest. They have been supporters of ours from the very beginning. Unfortunately, the challenge is that we don't get a lot of donated kosher food, there are limited USDA offerings, and so we do purchase most of our food, and so fundraising is always a big key for us. That's crucial for us.
So I took a tour a couple
Yes.
months ago, and it was amazing to me to see I mean, the garden, of course, at that time had not started blooming yet, but it is amazing because you actually grow food there.
We are
the
very,
Giving
very
Gardens, right?
blessed. Yes, we are blessed that our Giving Gardens is, in the beginning it started as like a little project, and it's grown, no pun intended, to a really integral part of our what we provide to our clients. So we are growing fresh produce. We cut it and give it to our clients that day. So it's
amazing.
true farm to table. We have a Giving Gardens Club where we have over 200 members that are consisting of our clients and members of the community. So we provide classes and tool sharing and plants and seeds. And there's a lot of volunteering opportunities. I, unfortunately, do not have a green thumb at all.
Yeah, me
at
neither.
all. But our staff there is amazing, and they really help people. And it's about sustainability, to teach people how to grow for themselves.
So talk a little bit about, I know when I was there was nobody there, of course, because privacy is a big issue.
Right.
And when I say that, I don't mean that, will people get embarrassed?
So we really serve our clients with the most dignity possible. So right now we're a total choice pantry. So someone will come up, our clients come once a month, they fill out a grocery list, then they go back to their cars, and we have volunteers that will shop for them in our warehouse. This minimizes the amount of people in our warehouse and also the most efficient and most self-dignity and respect. So our clients interact with very few people. And so this way we realize that it's, because there are a lot of people who are very uncomfortable to come.
And what's interesting too about the way the shopping list is that they're getting the choices.
Right.
And I think that speaks volumes for integrity and letting them feel like, oh, well, I'm making this, it's no different than me going to the grocery store and making my own choices.
Exactly. And we give culturally relevant food so that we have a lot of clients who are former Soviet Union or Ukrainian, and so we're giving them dill and beets and things that they're normally accustomed to. And as you said, it's like a grocery store. So as you saw, thank you so much.
Oh, no, it was my pleasure.
Yeah. And so then that way, people have a choice of how much protein and produce and baked goods and things like that. So yeah, it's really nice.
So you mentioned volunteers, and tell me kind of what you guys need or what you look for in a volunteer.
Well, we are a paid staff of 7 people, and so really we have a few hundred dedicated, committed volunteers who run. We could not do what we do without a lot of the volunteers. So there's different opportunities to work in the warehouse, like you were talking about, to shop for them. There is ways we have a delivery service so that people deliver to our clients who can't drive, and then in the Giving Gardens. So you don't have to have a green thumb, but you can weed and pick and plant and do things like that. So yeah, volunteers, we're always looking for volunteers. We welcome individuals, groups, companies.
And families, right?
Families, yeah. I've taken my family. It's the most fulfilling, really rewarding. So it sounds like you've middle schoolers. Yep. I have a daughter going into high school and a son in middle school, and they've been there numerous times, and it's so rewarding. You feel really good afterwards.
So kind of speak a little bit about that, because when a lot of, since the show started, it's been about giving back to the community, but it's also been hearing as far as, well, listen, if I model this for my kids, they're going to pick it up, and it's a life of service almost. And so for you to take your family there, how does that make you feel?
For me, it's all about action, right? And so when I got involved about 9 years ago, it's really important to me to be able to showcase to my kids. It's not just about giving a donation, but it's about your time, which is our most coveted resource. So it's very fulfilling. And so when they come, we realize that we're fortunate. So when my kids open the pantry and say, "Oh, there's nothing to eat," I'm like, really? There are people who, have really strong food insecurity.
Right.
So it's a very rewarding, fulfilling. So that they love it. They ask to keep coming back, cool. Which is nice.
So food insecurity, you mentioned that, and of course we're in the summer, and we know kids are out of school, and for the kids who are food insecure, it's like, where is their next meal coming from? And you mentioned the uptick that you guys have seen,
right? And
the need is there. So if somebody is volunteering with you or even another pantry, how dire is this need, especially at this time?
It's horrible. Before COVID, there were families that were just at the margin and were getting financial aid, through the government. And then when that funding stopped, there's a lot of families who now are just below the margin and can't sustain themselves. And you go to the grocery store, how expensive? Inflation is astronomical right now.
Right.
So we have 30% more clients than we did a year ago, and our costs are more than 20% higher. So it's
kind of, how do you balance?
How do you balance it? Well, the problem is that our clients have to choose. They have to choose where, do you put food on your table, or do you pay for utilities or your, needed medication? Right. So, that's where we are. We're seeing an uptick. We're seeing a lot more clients. Unfortunately, we see every month we have more and more people who need it.
If somebody does if they do need help, how do they, there's an application process, I think,
so
right?
our website, yadezra.org,
Okay.
or someone can call the phone number, and then we come in and register them and then help them get started.
And then for volunteers?
Volunteers also through the website,
Okay.
yadezra.org, and then someone will sign up, and then we have a lot of different opportunities, different times throughout the week, Monday through Sunday. So there's a lot of different opportunities for people.
And I think we do. We have the QR code on
great.
the screen so people can, I mean, we've mentioned time is the biggest commodity. Of course, money is too. And so people can just donate as well, right?
Right. Yes, we are always open. Yeah, we survive with our dedicated volunteers and with our generous donors and our community partners. So yes, we are always open for donations, looking for donations. We do a major fundraiser in October 29th, which is we typically have an honoree and a dinner, and throughout the year we do different appeals because we are here to raise money in order to help the food, provide food for the insecure population out there.
And the need is great, like you said.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Right? And so, well, thank you so much. I'm so excited that Yad Ezra, that you guys are the nonprofit for the month. And we, when I toured it, it was a neat. It's beautiful. The warehouse and the garden. I drove by it yesterday. I told you on the phone last night, and I drove by and I'm like, oh, it's so pretty.
And you should bring your kids.
Yes.
I mean, it really, and we really appreciate that you came by and took the tour. And once you see it, you realize that it is fantastic. But then there are a lot of people who need help. But when you volunteer, you see it and you walk away. You're there for a few hours and you drive away feeling fulfilled.
Exactly.
That provides you the joy.
Yep.
And it's really rewarding.
Yes. So my kids and I will be doing that. I promise you. We will be doing that. And it's just, like I said, when I drive by there every time, I'm like, I know what they're doing. It's amazing work. So thank you.
Well, thank you.
All right. And I'll talk to you again next week.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Of course, Enchanted Makeovers was our nonprofit last month, and founder Terry Grail was kind enough to supply our giveaway today. So you still have a chance. It is a beautiful Enchanted Makeover shirt with a coffee gift card. Remember, you just need to like, follow, and comment with the number 34. And of course, we'll announce the winner with Jason at the end of the show. Well, if you are at the beach or park having a picnic, remember to be careful with the food. Keep perishable items in a cooler with ice, and always grill outside from structures. And of course, drink plenty of water and lots of coffee, which of course brings me to our Coffee of the Day segment with Philip Jewell. He is the co-founder of Blue Hat Coffee Gallery. And Philip, we have missed you, buddy. Where have you been?
I've been working.
I know. You're so busy there, and I have to say that you brought me a matcha, and I appreciate that.
Oh, you're welcome. Yeah, iced matcha lattes are a hit in the summertime.
Yes.
And then we have a homemade lemonade that we put strawberries in.
Oh.
That's amazing. And then we have our frescantes, which are like a frappuccino, but about 20% of the calories.
Really?
With real whipped cream.
Oh.
And so it's one of those things where
That's new? Is it new?
Well, we've had it, but it's very popular in the summertime. So it's one of those things where you have a group of people, one person gets one, and then 3 people come from the group.
Say, I want that.
Yeah.
I want that.
Yeah.
Please give me that. Okay, so what have you got cooking up there? You always have something new that you're trying, bakery-wise.
Well, we just started. We've had a request for a vegan cookie, so we finally made a lemon vegan cookie that's rolled in sugar and lemon zest.
Oh.
And it's really, really
Is it good?
Well, you have to go through, version 1, version 2, version 3, and version 4, and we finally made it.
And you made it, and that's what's so important, because some people don't realize that you actually, you are involved in the process.
Right, we make everything on site, so for example, I'm going back and making a cheesecake. I'm going back to make cherry filling, apple pie filling, peach rhubarb filling.
Lemon ricotta cake?
Lemon ricotta cake. I have the ricotta.
Oh, we're getting closer. We're getting closer.
Yeah.
So, the temperatures have been pretty, not today so much, but it has been super humid, and people are just, I know I drank like 3 iced coffees the other day.
Well, we had a ton of people over the weekend, particularly on the one day it was super humid, and a lot of people lost power.
Yes.
And they were at Blue Hat because we had power, and we were at 71, 72 degrees.
Oh, nice.
So it was.
I should have come out there. I was without power for 3 days.
Yeah.
Okay, so the patio, the deck is open.
The deck is open, and it seats 24, and it looks out on Farmington. It's a beautiful setting. And there's trees and shade, and you can get out there, and it's busy.
It is.
Yeah, so and
Well, it's
a lot of fun.
Farmington. It's downtown Farmington.
Yeah,
so.
and we have a lot of people that live in the area and just walk over, once every day or
Exactly.
every couple days, and they go, Philip, what's new? It's like, I'm baking again.
You're always, every time I walk in there, you're in the kitchen baking.
Yeah.
And you do make your own syrups for the coffee.
We make our own syrup.
You make your own syrups,
so,
which is
yeah,
important.
we started doing that because I tried to find a vanilla syrup, and I went through like 7 manufacturers and I hated them all. So we now buy our syrups. We get 5-gallon buckets of syrup, and we probably have 20 syrups right now.
Okay.
And they're all.
What's the
made-
most popular right now?
Well, probably it's going to be coconut.
Oh.
We have a toasted coconut that we put with chocolate, and that we make, and that's really good as an ice drink.
Okay.
And then we have lavender. We just added pistachio, and so.
How about rose? Do you have rose?
We have pink rose.
Oh, see?
Yeah, and lavender.
Okay.
And
So all the flowers, just pick the flowers and put them in the coffee.
If you want echinacea, we'll get it.
Nice, thank you. The best thing about Blue Hat Coffee Gallery, though, is not just the coffee, it is the hours you are open.
Yeah, we're open 6:30 in the morning to 8:30 in the evening. And when we started doing that, I thought nobody's going to be here in the evening. I'm completely wrong, of course.
And then I kept walking in.
Yeah, after 5 o'clock, we're normally quite busy.
That's awesome.
Because we have seating for 55, and it's very comfortable seating, and it's quiet, and you can sit and read and talk to people and actually hear them in a
And hear them.
conversation. Yeah.
Exactly. So are you open on the 4th?
We are not open on the 4th.
Okay, what about the 5th?
The 5th, we're open.
Back to normal hours?
Yeah, back to normal hours.
All right, all right, well, thank you. I appreciate seeing you. It's been a while, and I appreciate the matcha, because I told you the other day,
Well,
I
so-
ordered one from a place I won't mention.
Yeah, and it went in the wastebasket.
It did. It tasted like grass. So I'm glad. So thank you so much. I appreciate
you're welcome.
you.
Thank you.
And again, that is Philip Jewell, the co-owner and co-founder of Blue Hat Coffee Gallery in downtown Farmington. Well, you do know that there's a joke that the state bird of Michigan is the mosquito, and that you can feel that can feel true, especially during the summer. You need to be extra careful. In fact, a group of mosquitoes near Grand Rapids did test positive for West Nile virus. That's according to the Kent County Health Department. And according to the health department, only 20% of people affected with the virus will actually notice symptoms. So make sure you avoid outdoor activity when mosquitoes are most active. That is at dawn and dusk. Also, empty any standing water and monitor your yard. And most importantly, use an EPA registered insect repellent because those mosquitoes, you don't want to get bit. So it is time for our giveaway announcement. And Jason, hi.
Hi.
What's going on, man?
Oh, well, we had a lot of activity.
Did we?
A lot of it was based on your beautiful new haircut.
Do you like it?
Yes. I'll get to that in a minute. But the winner is Francesca Strathern. Thank you for putting in episode 34. Because all you have to do to win is comment the episode number, 34, share, and like.
Maybe even follow Caffeinated Conversations.
And watch us every week.
And watch us every week, every Monday at 10.
Yep.
Well, congratulations, Francesca. Of course, she'll reach out to you.
Absolutely.
And we'll get
I'll reach out to
you'll
her
reach
as
out to her,
well.
get the bag. And so that's awesome. Thank you.
That is awesome.
Okay, so you mentioned my hair. It was all about surviving summer hair with the humidity. And, you know, I've got short hair, obviously.
You do.
But Beth Lickert from Trico Salon in Royal Oak was amazing. She came by. She's like, "Let me fix you up. I've got this covered." And of course, she couldn't be here because she had a hair emergency.
She had a hair emergency.
So we had to let her go deal with that.
Yes.
But I am grateful. But you know, it's so funny because it's like, wow, it's like a whole different feel to have like long hair.
Is it nice?
It is. I can be like, hey.
That's funny. I love it.
My mom is probably going, "What are you doing?" It's like, and the
I
twins.
think it looks good.
Oh, well, thank you. Yeah, it's kind of exciting. I don't know. Gives me a new feel. I feel younger.
Fantastic.
Yes.
You know what? I have something about the mosquitoes.
Oh, yeah. I
Yeah.
just got bit the other day and it
You
was
did,
not,
you?
yeah, it was not good. So tell me about that.
So people who don't like the whole off the bug
Yeah, that
spray,
smell.
the chemicals on them, one of the things that you can do rather than using a citronella candle is you can do it, you know, from stuff you have at home, like planters. Use planter, like a larger planter, put in some rocks, put in some lemon and lime slices.
Okay.
Put a smaller planter in the center and fill it full of coffee grounds, which is right up your alley.
Oh, see, I can do this.
Fill it full of coffee grounds. Squeeze some of the lemon and lime inside of it, add a little lighter fluid, and light up the coffee grounds.
Really?
Because that gives you a natural holistic
Okay.
form of citronella.
It actually like starts on fire.
Well, because the lighter fluid will help do that with
okay.
the coffee, but it will give you a great sense of smell, the coffee smell, and the lemon and the lime help with keeping the mosquitoes away.
Oh, that is awesome. Thank you. You're so resourceful. I appreciate that.
We'd use that at work. So.
Well, thank you so much. Okay, well, you know what? We have our winner. We have our holistic mosquito repellent.
Yes.
What else?
What are you doing this summer?
I don't know. I guess
Well,
I'm
you
gonna
were just
be
up in
right.
Frankenmuth, weren't
Yes,
you?
I was just, and I'm glad you mentioned that. So we were at Frankenmuth last week, and we actually had a medical emergency, and a lot of people, I did post about this on social media, and a lot of people reaching out to me wanting to make sure everyone was okay. So I can tell you that, yes, everyone is okay. Thank you for asking, and that I do owe my kids a chicken dinner because their chicken dinner at Zender's was interrupted by the paramedics. But I will say, this is what was so amazing, is that at Zender's it was so busy and it's such a huge restaurant.
Yeah.
But when this started happening, the server came right over. She noticed something was going on. The general manager came over, the staff, and then it was very, in those situations, people can get very embarrassed.
Right.
Right. But they were very kind and empathetic and kind of blocked the table until the ambulance arrived. So that was good. And then the other thing, we were staying at Zender Splash Mountain, and after the hospital discharge, there was no Uber at like 5 in the morning from Saginaw St. Mary's Hospital back to Frankenmuth, and it was like, what do you do? Well, they have a text line.
Oh.
Yeah, when you check in, you get the concierge that texts you and say if you ever need anything 24/7,
Oh,
text
that's an
us.
awesome service.
It was amazing because as I was looking for an Uber and I kept asking the hospital staff, is there a taxi service around? And they were like, no. So I text that number from Zender's, and then they supplied me with a bunch of numbers.
But you're doing
amazing.
okay now?
Yes.
Very
yes.
good.
So I'm doing good, but it was amazing, and I just wanted to say thank you to Zender's because it was really.
Well, I got to tell you, they're watching.
Oh.
Zender's is watching,
Really?
and they made comments talking about how they were so happy that you were there.
Oh, well,
and
thank
that things worked out well.
Yes, it did work out well, and like I said, poor Carson, he was like, I just wanted my chicken dinner. so I guess I'm going
Can't
back to
beat it.
I guess I'm going back to Frankenmuth for a chicken dinner.
It's not a waste of time.
No,
that's
it
for
is
sure.
not. And I forgot your cheese because we didn't make it to
Oh,
the
that's
cheese
okay.
house. So sorry about that. All right. Well, listen, it is July 1st. I
It is.
cannot believe it.
Happy 4th of July.
Yes, we're almost there.
I know.
You're going to be on a boat.
I will be.
You will be on a boat like many other people. Please be safe. I know you will be.
I will.
And for all of you out there, please be safe. Have a wonderful holiday, of course. We will see you next week, same time, same place, and keep the coffee hot, or in this case, matcha iced. See you later. See you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.